Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about Norm of the North, Keys to the Kingdom. This is, of course, the sequel to one of the worst animated films ever given a wide release. So bad that I thought, why didn't they just put this out on demand and on DVD? And so a sequel actually did that, so that's appropriate. And the animation is remarkably worse somehow, which is like an accomplishment. In some ways, yes. In some ways, it's par for the course. Norm of the North, as a character and as a franchise, is remarkably horrible. You're not really sure who would like him and what is likable about him. You kind of get maybe the byline of, oh, he's a wacky polar bear in the North Pole, which for some reason Santa isn't involved in that, but whatever. He can speak human, even though like everyone he knows who's an animal speaks English, and there's no like differentiation between when he can and can't speak human, which is a thing from the original. In this one, Norm of the North, he's back, and he's come back to New York to get a key to the city from the mayor, and then he gets accused of stealing because someone has video evidence of him stealing a bag of money or something. And there's all of that. And it was as horrendous as last time, you know, looking like honestly the same bad guy set, except this time he's the mayor. Semi-based on the governor of actual New York, which is sort of interesting. I'm sort of wondering if this film is trying to be more political. Because, and I don't want to give spoilers, but I'm going to anyway. So I'm sorry, this is not a spoiler-free Norm of the North review. I apologize. You can unsubscribe and give me a thumbs down. But you find out that Norm of the North, the mayor or governor or whatever political person in New York, stole this money, and you find out like politicians can be corrupt, which I was shocked that Norm of the North would really get political, especially in this time. And I thought, because this film moves really quickly, I was like, this is an hour-and-a-half movie. We're like getting towards the end. It's like 45 minutes in. This is amazing. Like maybe they just like sort of forgot to make the rest of the movie and it's just black for another 45 minutes, which I thought would have been refreshing. Frankly, I would have been amazed. I was like, this is stirring and artistic achievement. The fact that I could just sleep for 45 minutes and then wake up and shoot this review and be like, I had a nice nap after Norm of the North. The incredible entertainers, I would say, and meditation specialists at Splash Entertainment have done something that I could have never thought. You know, they did something political. They showed in Trump's America, I think Norm of the North, by the way, secretly very liberal, showed that there can be corruption in the government, that he was going to pay for his presidential campaign, and he's in New York, and he's in buildings, basically Trump. So I was like, this is great. This movie's almost over. This is Norm of the North, Keys to the City. And then this whole other movie starts. It's like, what? I'm getting two movies for the price of one, unfortunately. Then I get to it and I realize, wait a minute. I've seen all of Norm of the North, Keys to the Kingdom. How can there be any more of this film? I mean, the plot is over. Norm has... Oh, and there was a hare called Fong, who's like a hare, who's a banker and a ninja or something. That could have been maybe something interesting, but that is not it. How I describe it's better than... So yeah, you get to this point and there's all this trash in these bottles, which they do hint at. By the way, there is continuity. In the second one, in the next part, you see all these like far north bottles and you're like, where's this going? And like, then you find out Norm of the North has a brother, Sam, who's playing hockey with his kids, because now he has like 6 kids. That was a plot point at the beginning of Norm of the North before he left the Arctic or the North Pole or wherever to get the keys to the city, keys to the kingdom. Whatever. And he finds out that they're taking this ice to make this bottled water that you saw appeared in the previous segment of the film. And then I realized this is not Keys of the Kingdom. Keys of the Kingdom I've already watched. This is Arctic All-Stars. And I knew this because I re-looked at the Norm of the North Wikipedia, and in it said there was going to be 2 45-minute sequels. One would be Norm of the North, Keys to the Kingdom, which is what I saw. And then the next would be Arctic All-Stars. So... even though there has been announced several Norm of the North sequels, so you're going to see a lot of me talking about Norm of the North this year, and I know that Norm of the North King Size Adventure is coming up next, it looks like, and there's going to be a family vacation one, right? Literally called Family Vacation, I'm sorry. So there's King Size Adventure, which I believe will be next, because that does have a trailer out. That trailer did drop. You should have been on Twitter that day. Yeah, so we're going to get a lot of these because... they realized the gold mine that was a movie that was released in January 3 years ago that didn't do that well, but did actually make a profit because this is the world we live in. Okay, so Arctic All-Stars is a totally different movie where they fight basically Russians. So again, political. They're talking about what's really going on because they show that the Russians are just stealing ice from the Arctic to make into bottled water because you can't just like turn on a tap. I don't know how bottled water works other than that there's water in bottles, which I assume that's the whole business, but I don't want to insult the people who do that. I don't really care. Did people care about those people? So Norman North has to fight the Russians because he makes a thing that his brother and a random assortment of Arctic All-Stars will play this country that's definitely not Russia but is in a game, but then he finds out that they're playing robots and they use this thing. Look, Norman the North is everything horrible. And here's the thing that's most evil. They had 2 45-minute sequels ready to go, Splash Entertainment. They have another one, Norman the North King Size Adventure, that is labeled 2019. This is labeled 2018, which I don't know if it played somewhere or maybe played a few festivals just for Oscar consideration, you know, and then came out in 2019. I'm counting it as a 2019 movie. I don't care what Splash Entertainment says. You came out in January, you were 2019. I don't care about no IMDb here. But King Size Adventure is definitely a 2019 film. And then Family Vacation, I'm assuming, is also. Will enough people watch these? I mean, Norman North was technically financially successful. So is there enough interest there? Or are there enough families and everything that will just take in this kind of crappy entertainment? It'll just sort of work out for them? I mean, it's like you had a movie that was already one of the worst animated films that anyone's ever heard of. Like, it's like not Food Fight Bad, but it's like in the conversation of Food Fight Bad. Like, you did that, and that worked out for you somehow, because they spent nothing on marketing. They just had, you know, this come out in theaters, they had Shake It Off in the trailer. Kids were like, I like Shake It Off, or maybe, I don't know, this looks like Despicable Me, but worse, and they just put up with it, and they were fine with it, and now they're like, if we just put this on demand and stuff, it'll make enough money. I mean, this movie was so bad, it couldn't get Rob Schneider. That is, like, amazing. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, how bad do you have to be that Rob Schneider's like, I'd rather not do that movie? I mean, Splash Entertainment is acting like they're Bob Iger when he got Star Wars, and he's like, we're putting out a Star Wars every year. This is like, we're putting out a Norman the North every, I don't know, every, like, a lot of times, basically. I don't know when the next one's coming out. Is this like one of those things like how Netflix makes those live-action anime adaptations, and they're like, well, if we just make them, enough people will watch them just out of like morbid curiosity that, you know, it's sort of worth us making them? Did they use all of us hating it to make this work for us? Is this the end of art and culture, making Norman the North movies? Like, is it? Like, or is Norman the North trying to teach our children something? Is it the first one, obviously environmental message, the second one, obviously political corruption message, and the third one, obviously like something about Russia or whatever. I don't know, whatever. The next one, King Size Adventure, I mean, what's that going to tackle? You know, human trafficking possibly? I think that's maybe, I don't know, doesn't matter. Norman the North is one of the worst things ever, and it's just not stopping, and it's going to get worse. Like, right when you were like, man, is life bad? I mean, there couldn't be like so many Norman the North sequels. This will basically fill up my worst of 2019 list. Like, I'm now concerned, will my worst of 2019 list have anything that's not Norman the North? Like, Norman the North, it's the first 2019 movie I saw. I don't care what you say, Splash Entertainment. And it's already like the worst thing I saw in 2019. It would actually be the worst thing I saw in 2018, frankly. I just can't believe that Norman the North is back with a franchise. Like, did they make these back-to-back like they were Back to the Future 2 and 3 or like The Lord of the Rings or something? Because it feels like they just like didn't stop making them. Like, is Kids Entertainment like the Baby Bump YouTube things where it's like we just put out like whatever, kids will like put up with it, and it's like this is what Kids Entertainment is? It sort of is. Like, that's not even a joke. Like, you can do like minimal effort and kids will put up with like little dumb animated characters doing wheels on the bus, and it's sort of what Norman the North is, but instead of being like this idiotic thing that like came out in theaters and it's like, oh, we've taken the kids to everything, we'll take them to this is on demand with little advertising and not on YouTube. So it's like there's so many things about this that I question, that questions myself for getting attached to this, that somehow Splash Entertainment has sucked me in. Am I the only one to be thinking about Norm of the North? Am I the only one theorizing about Norm of the North? Has Norm of the North trapped me so that I have to speak about him in this endless sea of abyss that is these films, where I watch this like badly animated gyrating polar bear kind of dictate my life choices and rest of 2019? Is this what my life is? And unfortunately, I think Norm of the North not only got the keys to the kingdom, he grabbed the keys to my soul and won't let it go. And Splash Entertainment has taken us all and shown us it doesn't matter what we do and how we object, they will keep pushing these things out and nothing can stop them. Not on demand or algorithms, because that will work in their favor. And that is the ultimate political statement that Norm of the North has showed us, that nothing can stop something as terrible and bland and as uninteresting as Norm of the North. No matter how many of these negative reviews we make, Norm of the North cannot be stopped, and he will not be stopped in the next review, which will be King Size Adventure. See you next time. So if you have seen Norm of the North, Keys to the Kingdom, and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.